every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Where there is light, there is shadow. Where there are ones, there are zeros. And where there is good, there is evil. Oh, GLAUCON? He couldn't make it tonight. Digital Media GLAUCON? No, I am your host. Psycho Media Nulcon. And what better time to lean into the dark with one of my favorite anti-heroes, Mechanical Violator Hakaider. Mechanical Violator Hakaider, a 90s tokusatsu action flick directed by Keita Amamiya. But this ain't no cyborg sex offender, no. Hakaider is an unstoppable force of nature, anti-hero, a true badass mechanical man. It's October, time to get moderately spooky with this dark industrial take on a classic character. But to do this story justice, we gotta go all the way back to 1972. Henshin!
Switch on! 1, 2, 3!
So the character Hakaider was originally a major villain from Android Kikaider, a classic tokusatsu series created by legendary manga artist Shotaro Ishinomori. Without him, there'd be no Kamen Rider, no Cyborg 009, no Super Sentai, no Hakaider. Kikaider kicked off with the Henshin boom of the 70s. Funky theme songs, colorful costumes, hopeful heroics, vicious villains, and plenty of thrilling transformations. It tells a tale of Jiro, an asymmetrical android created to fight for justice, protecting the innocent from Professor Gill and his evil organization, Dark, showing us the power of translucent technology before it was cool. Circuits in the skull, bell-bottoms in the flesh. Balancing a spirit not simply mechanical, but not fully human either. Yeah, me too. Much like the heroic Kikaider, Hakaider is an android as well. Hence the visible brain dome. But it's not just for show, as his synthetic cranium houses the mind of Dr. Komioji, Kikaider's creator. If Hakaider is killed in battle, Komioji goes with him. That catch-22, along with an imposing attitude and sick character design, made Hakaider an iconic figure, skyrocketing him in popularity. In just 7 episodes, Hakaider really left his mark on the series, introducing himself as Jiro's younger brother and asserting his dominance as a superior android, often appearing in human form as the cunning Saburo. He's got his mission, but he's gonna do it his own way. And kicking Kikaider while he's down? Well, that's just no fun. Far more sophisticated than the rest of Gill's robots, making for a great sibling rivalry. You can really see that rebellious attitude long before his movie debut. Hakaider doesn't blindly follow Gill like the other Dark robots, and will go out of his way to pursue his own goals, even questioning his purpose as a sentient machine. Now here's a fun piece of trivia you can use to impress your crush. Did you know? Kikai means machine, and Hakai means destroy.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Damn, should've showed off my Bionicle collection. Anyway, so how did this dude get his own movie? Well, over the years, Kikaider has had its fair share of spin-offs, not to mention being super popular in Hawaii, airing as early as 1974.
Nowhere was the fervor of Kikaider fans more in evidence than at the Hawaii All Collectors Show in July of 2001. The announced return of Kikaider, Kikaider 01, and actors Bon Daisuke and Ikeda Shunsuke drew 2 days of overflow crowds to the Blaisdell exhibition hall.
Any boomer nerds watching this? Let me know. After its original run, plenty of Kikaider projects were pitched and developed within Toei to no avail. a Kikaider reboot series. No, wait, a Hakaider series. A Hakaider movie right in time for Toei Superhero Fair 1995. Protect your dreams, protect the future. 3 invincible heroes. Hakaider premiered alongside Choriki Sentai O-Ranger and Juko B-Fighter. Elements of these shows were later adapted into Power Rangers Zeo and Big Bad Beetleborgs, respectively. By the mid-90s, Keita Amamiya had already made a name for himself in the Toku arena. A director and character designer known for his work on movies like Mirai Ninja, Zeiram, Kamen Rider Z-O, and would later go on to create the Garo series. The real challenge was turning the villainous Hakaider into an underdog protagonist, but Amamiya's striking, nightmarish style would be the perfect fit for such a dark hero. We'll kick into high gear with the Hakaider movie after this. How do you make a hero out of a villain? Introduce a tragic backstory, give them a redemption arc, make them denounce their ways and turn towards the path of justice? Or do you put them in a world even more sinister? It's 1995's mechanical violator, Hakaider. In this post-apocalyptic future, there exists one last bastion of hope for humanity. Jesus Town. You got that right. A utopian society that totally isn't a fascist police state. In this city, all who oppose the natural order are met with extreme force. Surveillance is everywhere, so don't get captured. If the cops don't catch you, the heavy armored elite guard will. Overseeing the peacekeeping efforts is the android known simply as Michael, based on the archangel of the same name. Much like the city itself, his elegant appearance and calm demeanor only disguise a cruel spirit within. Probably a good time to mention this movie has virtually nothing to do with the original series. By the time he's awakened, Hakaider has no memory of who or what he is. He has no past, no future, but one thing remains clear: vengeance will be served. Teaming up with a rebel faction to liberate the people of Jesus Town, Hakaider will let nothing stand in his way. It's an extremely simple plot, elevated by awesome production design, subtle execution, and stark contrasting characters. Mechanical Violators got that vibe, lots of midnight scenes in this dank urban setting. A constant layer of smoke or fog is always present, and it sets the perfect stage for an unrelenting yet understated hero. And I mean understated with an underline in lowercase letters. There is very little dialogue here, telling a story mostly through visuals. But the few lines Hakaider does have leave quite the impression. Damn. In this world, Hakaider values personal freedom above all else. A true renegade who fights for the people, especially those who are mistreated. No one believes themselves to be the villain, but Hakaider embraces it. With all institutions of government, angelic imagery, symbols of peace and prosperity are employed to punish the innocent, Hakaider stands for something more. Despite the heavy subject matter, there still remain sparks of hope, even in this bleak setting. One of the more divisive aspects is the use of dream sequences, depicting Hakaider as a knight in shining armor. Our main supporting character here is Kaoryu, a tenacious guerrilla fighter who develops a bit of a crush on the destroyer himself. Can you blame her? And yes, despite being fully robotic, Hakaider does have a human form here as well. It's easy to write this whole thing off as a typical damsel in distress scenario, but you really get the feeling Hakaider deeply believes in her cause, with Kaoryu acting as a role model for the rest of her squad. Anachronistic? Possibly. It really does feel like an old-fashioned fairy tale. However, if Hakaider proposed to me, I would not say no. Now, the name Jesus Town makes a lot more sense when you realize it's located in Jerusalem. Don't remember the movie explicitly stating this, but basically every article I've seen mentions it. But the real Jesus Town is actually Tokyo University of Technology in Japan, making it almost as evil as the art school I got rejected from. Dodged a bullet there. YouTube tutorials are where it's at. Without giving away too much, this movie's a blast. I'd highly recommend checking out the director's cut, which is still only an hour and 20 minutes. It features a couple great character moments that were cut from the theatrical version. Either way, there's some killer choreography and hard-hitting action. But above all, it's got this very atmospheric, dreamlike quality to it. Great for a late-night watch. But there's still more to the Hakaider story than meets the eye. What happens after this movie, and how did Sega get into the tokusatsu game with Toei? We'll find out after these messages. The original Hakaider movie pitch was quite ambitious, and many ideas never made it into the final product. But a year later, in 1996, the story would continue in the video game Hakaider Last Judgment on Sega Saturn. In fact, the Hakaider movie was co-produced by Sega, so might as well make some exclusive software. Now you can finally see the world through the eyes of Hakaider in this on-rails light gun shooter. Just when the genre was really hitting its stride, throw in some FMVs from the movie and bam! You got yourself some rootin' tootin' Hakaider shootin'. But this was no rushed movie tie-in. It featured an original story from the film's screenwriter, Toshiki Inoue. There was no better time to put those unused concepts to work. Last Judgment didn't hold back on the technical side either. Lots of pre-rendered assets and environments. Between battles, it can get very atmospheric, with cutscenes and brief sections exploring the city talking to NPCs. No idea what they're saying though. My lack of linguistics only makes these sections feel more dreamlike. I don't know why I'm here, where I'm going, what my purpose is. All I know is I must destroy. Except for you guys, you seem pretty cool, I guess. Pardon the janky cursor movement as I aim with my gamepad, but this game is really built for peripherals. At first I was frustrated having to reload constantly while trying to figure out the controls. Where's the reload button? Well, turns out you gotta hit it twice. Always double tap. Normally that would be annoying, but with a light gun, swapping munitions is far more exhilarating.
I love to reload during a battle.
But just when you're ready to blow your load, your experience is ruined by this obnoxious text-to-speech voice. Every time you need to switch weapons or run out of ammo. Can you imagine that being what he hears in his head? Way to take Kikaider down a notch. Your arsenal is the key to survival. It can be overwhelming at first with so many options, but they have their purpose, all being geared towards different enemy types. Even with my awkward setup, I found it pretty engaging. There are plenty of curveballs thrown your way. Surprise boss fights, random side missions, innocent bystanders. Oh wait, sorry! They seriously make you pull a RoboCop, shooting enemies while avoiding their human shield. And before you know it,
Michael!
This time the story follows Hakaider back into Jesus Town 10 years later, only to find the city under the rule of the OG Kikaider villain, Professor Gill. So it's up to him to liberate Jesus Town again, but with more guns. Also in this game, it's revealed Karu is actually the character Bijinder from Kikaider's sequel series, Kikaider 01. Bijinder? I hardly know her. This was a scrapped concept from the movie, and although she is referred to here as Karen, and portrayed by a different actress, it's heavily implied they're the same person. She even has the bell charm from the movie. But yeah, Last Judgment brings a whole rogues gallery of both new and returning villains from the original series. Lots of cool battles here, but the final boss is driving me crazy. You gotta fight Professor Gill, who turns out to be just a decoy. Blue Hakaider, then Red Hakaider. This shadow clone move is impossible to anticipate. You can only damage one, and it's completely random every time. Just let me win! Thank Mata Nui this is a short game. I was able to get through the whole thing in just under 2 hours with unlimited continues. I ain't got time for long games, but that's just my life as an early to mid-20s demographic robot. As inaccessible as it is, I'd only really recommend this game to die-hard Hakaider fans like myself. But when it's all said and done, it does serve as a nice little epilogue to the movie, even featuring some original footage made just for the game. Maybe not the perfect send-off for the mechanical Violator, but hey, at least this Hakaider went out with a bang. As I wrap up this session, I wonder, what's next for Hakaider, and where's he been? Looks like his most recent appearance was in the 2014 Kikaider reboot movie. Ooh, I gotta look into this. But what about that 90s Hakaider TV series from Keita Amamiya? Well, instead we got Choku Senshi Chanzarian, the Crystal Pepsi of Tokusatsu. Another project Toei produced in partnership with Sega. Am I a little disappointed? Yes, but look at this dude. God, I wish that was me. Translucent technology is my jam. As nice as a Hakaider revival would be, what really gets me excited is the increased awareness of Tokusatsu in the West. We're seeing big blockbuster remakes of classic characters like Ultraman and Kamen Rider hit the big screens in Japan and hopefully the rest of the world soon. And old media is more accessible than ever. If you're already a huge Toku fan, check out the YouTube channel Monstrosities and their awesome documentary on Hakaider. It goes into far more detail with lots of great behind the scenes info, and thanks to Skull Raider for showing me all this in the first place, and helping me revise the script. Dude's a walking encyclopedia, go read his webcomic. To sum it up, it's an uncommon take on an old story. The simple concept brings new meaning. Strip away the esoteric origins and give him a reason to fight. You're left with a rebellious spirit who won't compromise. Mechanical Violator Hakaider is one hell of a ride, but it's also a cautionary tale against those who claim to protect the world, only to serve their own selfish interests, all behind a twisted facade of justice.
貴様が正義なら俺は悪だ。
Wi-Fi connection. It's multiplayer gaming at its most deadly. Only for Nintendo DS. Rated T for teen.
Crush. Smash. Destroy. From inside my heart, a voice urges me on. From inside my heart, dark desires beckon. My heart cannot forgive the sin of giving in to destruction. Is this the real me? No, it isn't. Save me. Next time on Android Kikaider the Animation, the Destroyer.